Oh god, it got me! Oh god, no. I thought it was dead.
Target that weak spot.
Hey YouTubers, as some of you may know, the Evolve beta came out. It was a closed beta, but of course I was in because I got in the alpha and everybody in the alpha got into the closed beta. Now if you don't know what Evolve is, basically it's a monster hunting game in short, but the difference is you can be the monster. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm the monster. I'm doing a very poor job of it. This is my first game I played. I'm not a big fan of the monster, to tell you the truth. I'd rather be one of the hunters. The hunters are, you got 4 different ones. You have the trapper, who obviously traps the guy and tries to hold him in place. You got the support, the heavy assault, and you got the medic. The medic's pretty obvious what it does. It heals, and it doesn't do much else. It can stun, the other guys, and any of you can actually revive the other teammates. But that's your main role, healing and trying to slow it down and debuff it by putting these little targets. You see one on my leg right now. And support, obviously he supports. He does some damage, but his main job is just to put a shield on you to keep you from taking damage. And as you can see here, there's the other part of being the monster. You need to evolve. And the part of this game is you have to rank up to the 3rd evolution of your character, or the monster character. As a hunter, you do not want this to happen. He gets much stronger and gains some more abilities as he evolves. You really want to trap him in that first phase if you can. Now, if you're very sneaky, this will not happen. If you're really sneaky, you may never even see him, and that's one of the faults I find with this game. You end up spending a substantial amount of time just running behind, trying to find the monster. And even if you do find him, it's sometimes really hard to keep up with him. And that could be a bit annoying and make the game sort of boring at times. You could spend several minutes, if not 10 minutes sometimes, just chasing after it and trying to kill it. Or just trap it in this little dome, as you see here as the trapper is laid down. This is very important, obviously, as he cannot escape it. But for the most part, you end up spending quite a bit of time chasing after the monster, or trying to track it. Sometimes it'll become very hard to find it. Basically, the easiest ways you do track it is by following footprints. Now, a very sneaky monster will leave very few. Or if it's like the Kraken, for instance, this one here is a Goliath. That's all you're going to see in this video is just the Goliath footage. But there's a Kraken. He can fly. It's pretty hard to follow him, in my opinion. But when all else fails, you have somebody like Daisy, the trapper's pet, to chase after very slowly, though. And it'll help keep somewhat on track of finding where that monster is gone. And also, sometimes the monster will scare up some birds, and it'll let you kind of basically find out where it is. You see some birds up there, they're scared, right before it cut out. Very crucial to figure out where the monster is by looking and watching the environment. You can sort of hear the monster, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to actually find it just by sound. He makes quite a bit of sound, very loudly, very rumbly, quite far across the map. So even with a good set of headphones, it's pretty hard to find it just based off sound. It'll give you an idea, though. And you may have noticed you can actually spot the monster. If you press Q, the spot button, like in Battlefield, you can spot a point in general, and if you hit the monster, you get a red dot. As you see a couple places around here where I've hit the Q button to let people know where he is. Although it's kind of obvious since he's in the middle of us right now, but sometimes when he's across the map, that really does help if you're not in great communication with your teammates. And communication is key if you want to be the hunters and win. It's pretty hard to beat the monster if your team is not working together. You all have very obvious rules to fulfill, and if everyone's not doing it, the monster will win. He will easily win, unless he's just not very good, or you trap him very early and he's not really too familiar with what he needs to do, which I know everybody starts at some point, doesn't know what the hell they're doing, but it's pretty easy once you figure out like the names of everybody's the right color for what their class is. You figure out who you need to attack first, like the medic, for instance, to be one you really want to hit hard. Now, after rambling on this long about what the game plays like and what you need to do, this is what I actually think about the game. The game is a beta. It's going to change, I'm sure, over time. I haven't seen and done everything yet. I haven't locked everything yet. But the game fundamentally isn't that fun, I don't think. I mean, it can be fun if you're with a group of people that are playing good, you can have a fun time in combat. But most of the game revolves around like this cat and mouse thing where you need to chase them constantly, and that isn't that much fun. Of course, there's other creatures, in between there that you can kill, and some of them give you buffs even if you kill them and you press E on PC to grab the buff. But at the same time, it's not that great. It's not that much fun. Usually, you're just using your jump jet to jet over top of them and try to avoid all those little monsters in the ground because you're not interested in them whatsoever. Another problem I have with the game, the load time in between rounds, not even the load, just the selection of your perks or whatever your class you want to use, is way too long. There's times where it's up to 5 minutes you're waiting between rounds for no real reason other than some people are just slow, they load slow, or it's just giving you way too much time. They need to fix that right away as far as I'm concerned. And the game is also on the Cry engine, and you can feel it. My frame rate was fairly poor, fairly often. Didn't seem to matter what I turned the options to. I had a really hard time keeping a good frame rate in this game. It dropped quite often, especially when you jump out of the ship in the very beginning. What it does right, though, is a team gameplay. If you're really into team gameplay, this is your game because you really need a good team. You want to play with friends. It really works that way. And it's also good as, fact, if you're the monster, you really do feel hunted. You do feel scared. You really want to get away. And that works really great for what it is. If you enjoyed my video, I would appreciate if you just hit that like button, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you also play the beta, what'd you think about it? It's fun at the same time. It's kind of boring, don't you think? If not, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you really think about the game. I just didn't quite like it. I was hoping it was the next Left 4 Dead, and it's not quite that game I was looking for.